teach you in all those years of school how money actually works. I mean, seriously, think about it. You probably learned how to find the area of a trapezoid, you maybe memorized the periodic table, you definitely dissected a frog. But when's the last time you actually needed to know that stuff? But did a single teacher ever sit you down and say, hey, here's how a credit score works? Or this is the difference between saving and investing? Nope. Well, that's a pretty massive gap, don't you think? So let's try to fix 12 years of silence in like the next 5 minutes. Ready? Okay, first up, let's talk about this kind of invisible number that pretty much runs your entire adult life. It's your financial scorecard. Yep, I'm talking about your credit score. It's just a 3-digit number, right? But you would not believe how much power it has. It's the gatekeeper for getting an apartment. It dictates the interest rate you'll pay on a car loan. It can even affect job offers. It literally opens doors for you or it slams them right in your face. So, how is this thing even calculated? Well, it's actually not that complicated. Get this, a whopping 65% of your score boils down to just two things. Two! Your payment history, basically, do you pay your bills on time? And your credit utilization. How much of your available credit are you using? The big secret? Just pay your bills on time and try to keep your credit card balances under 30% of your limit. If you can just nail those two things, you're seriously on the right track. And that's why this score basically creates two completely different paths in life. A good score, opportunities just seem to appear. A bad one, well, it's a lot of closed doors and frustrating no's. It's a game, for sure, and those are the rules you need to know to play it well. All right, next up, let's tackle a really common mix-up that honestly costs people a fortune over their lifetime, and that's the difference between saving and investing. So many people use these words like they're the same thing, but they are totally different tools for totally different jobs. Think of it like this. Saving is for the short term. It's your safety net, your emergency fund. It needs to be safe and easy to get to. Investing? That's the long game. That's putting your money to work, sending it out into the world to grow. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. If you just let all your money sit in a regular savings account, there's this silent killer called inflation. On average, it's about 3% a year. That means it's slowly eating away at your money's value. It's like having a leaky bucket. Every single year, your money can buy less than it could the year before. Okay, I know that sounds a little depressing, but don't worry, there's a fix. Let's talk about three super simple tools you can use to actually make your money work for you instead of just losing value. First things first, let's plug that leaky bucket. You know that $5,000 you might have in a savings account at a big traditional bank? You might earn what, 50 cents in a whole year? That's not even a cup of coffee. But if you take that exact same money and move it to what's called a high yield savings account, you could earn 225 bucks. It's the same money. The only difference is about 10 minutes of your time to open a new account. It's a no-brainer. Okay, now for the money you're not going to touch for a while, the money you're ready to invest. We need to talk about something Einstein supposedly called the eighth wonder of the world, and that's the magic of compound interest. This is the part where your money starts having babies, and then those babies have babies. It's amazing. Check this out. If you start investing just 50 bucks a month, that's it, 50 bucks, at age 22, by the time you're 65, you could be looking at a balance of over $379,000. It's incredible. But, and this is a huge but, what if you wait? What if you start just 10 years later, at 32? That final number plummets to $146,000. That's a difference of more than 230 grand. Gone. Poof. Why? Just because you waited. It proves that time, not the amount of money, is your single greatest asset when it comes to investing. So where do you even do this? Well, for young people especially, one of the absolute best tools is something called a Roth IRA. I love this analogy for it. You pay tax on the seed, the money you put in, but you never pay tax on the harvest, all the money it grows into. Think about that $379,000 we just talked about. If you had to pay, say, a 15% tax on that, you'd owe over $56,000. In a Roth IRA, that money is 100% yours, all of it. Okay, we've gone through a lot here, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But look, knowledge is totally useless if you don't do anything with it. So let's make this super simple and talk about your very first action. Here is your mission right now. Don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to do everything at once. Just pick one thing from this explainer that resonated with you and take one tiny action on it today. Not tomorrow, today. Maybe it's opening that high-yield savings account. Maybe it's starting that Roth IRA with just 25 bucks. That first small step is genuinely the most important one you'll ever take. And while you're doing it, I want you to get this one thing straight. You are not bad with money. You are never lazy. You are never irresponsible. You were simply never taught. That's it. And that all changes right now, because now you know. The power is officially in your hands. So my question for you is, what's the first thing you're going to teach yourself? Well, you spent, what, 12 years in school? 12 years learning about Shakespeare and isosceles triangles, but somehow the one thing that controls pretty much every day of your adult life just got skipped. Well, we're going to change that. I mean, seriously, think about it. You learned how to dissect a frog. And let's be real, when was the last time you needed that skill? But did anyone ever pull you aside and explain what a credit score actually is? Or why that savings account your parents opened for you might actually be losing you money every year? Probably not. And look, that's not on you. It's not your fault. You were never bad with money. You were never taught. So in this explainer, we are going to fix 12 years of silence, and we're going to do it right now. All right, first up, let's talk about the one thing that is quietly running your life in the background, whether you know it or not. It's your credit score. Think of it like a secret financial report card that follows you absolutely everywhere. Now, you might think, oh, that's just for, getting a credit card. Nope. Just look at this list. This one little 3-digit number can be the difference between getting the apartment you want or not. It controls the interest rate you'll pay on your car. It can even impact you getting a job. It's kind of a big deal. So, what even makes up this score? Well, it's like a recipe. And while there are 5 ingredients, you only really need to focus on the 2 big ones. A whopping 35% is just your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? Simple. And another 30% is something called credit utilization. Fancy term, but it just means how much of your available credit you're using. Here's the golden rule. Always, always try to keep your balance below 30% of your total limit. And really, this image says it all. Your score basically creates one of 2 paths for you in life. A low score, that's going to lead to a lot of closed doors and rejection letters. But a high score, that's what opens those exact same doors to better apartments, cheaper loans, and way more financial freedom. So, what if you're starting from scratch, like you have no score at all? The absolute fastest way to start building credit is with something called a secured credit card. All it is you put down a small deposit, say 200 bucks, and that becomes your credit limit. You just use it for tiny purchases like a coffee, pay it off right away every month, and boom. Within about 6 months, you've got a real credit score that's starting to grow. Okay, on to our second big topic. This is a huge one. People use the words saving and investing interchangeably, like they're the same thing. They are absolutely not. And confusing the two is probably one of the most expensive mistakes a person can make. Here's the difference in a nutshell. Saving is for short-term goals. It's your oh crap fund, your emergency money. It has to be safe and easy to get to. Investing, on the other hand, is for the long term. That's money you won't need for at least 5 years. Money you're putting to work to actually build wealth. They have 2 totally different jobs. Now, why is this so critical? Because of this number right here, -3%. That's because of a sneaky little thing called inflation. On average, stuff gets about 3% more expensive every year. But your typical savings account at a big bank, it pays you like 0.01%. You do the math. Your money is literally losing its buying power every single day it just sits there. You're getting poorer without doing a thing. Okay, I know that sounds pretty depressing, but this is the good part. This is where we get to be proactive. So let's talk about 3 super powerful but really simple tools you can use to make your money finally start working for you.
Tool number 1, the high yield savings account. Just look at this chart. If you have $5,000 in a normal big bank savings account, you'll earn 50 cents in a whole year. 50 cents. But that exact same money in a high yield savings account, which by the way, takes about 10 minutes to open online, earns you $225. It's the same money, same effort, wildly different result.
All right, tool number 2 is the magic of compound interest. Check this out. If you're 22 years old and you invest just $50 a month, that's less than a couple of coffees a week, into a simple S&P 500 index fund. By the time you're ready to retire at 65, that tiny habit could grow into this, almost $400,000. But here's the catch. What if you wait? What if you start that exact same habit, $50 a month, just 10 years later at age 32? Your final number is only 146,000. By waiting just 1 decade, you lose over $230,000. That's the mind-blowing, irreversible power of starting now. And tool number 3 is the absolute best place to put that investment money, a Roth IRA. It's an investment account with a superpower, and the analogy on the screen is perfect. You pay taxes on the money you put in, that's the seed. But then all the growth, all that compound interest for decades, the harvest, is 100% completely, totally tax-free, forever. So, we've talked about your credit score, the difference between saving and investing, and 3 tools to grow your money. I know it can feel like a lot. So let's boil this all down to one simple, single, first action. But before we get to that, I really want you to let this quote sink in for real. You're not bad with money. You're never lazy or irresponsible. You were just forced to play a really important game without ever being taught the rules. Well, that officially ends today. So here's your first step. It's simple. Don't get overwhelmed and try to do everything at once. Just pick one thing from this explainer. Maybe it's opening that high yield savings account. Maybe it's just checking your credit score for the first time. Maybe it's opening a Roth IRA with just 20 bucks. Whatever it is, do it today, not tomorrow, today. That feeling of being behind, that's not a finish line. It's a starting line. It's the moment you decide to take control. So the real question isn't about what you were never taught. The question is, what's the first thing you're going to teach yourself?